Welcome everyone to this interview session on the topic Professionalism in the Early Childhood Sector. I am Nicole Cook, a Level 3 student at the UA Open Campus, writing for a degree in Early Childhood and Family Studies. Professionalism is defined by Guevara 2020 as the use of practical wisdom through experience used in sensitive situations that are tacit. The rationale for professionalization is just as Osgood 2006 puts it. Professionalization could command respect for early childhood educators. Please join me in 2 interviews to hear a parent's view and a teacher's perspective on the topic. Thank you, Mr. Brown, for accepting to do this interview. You mentioned that your son is 3 years old?
Yes.
So that makes you a prime candidate for this video.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, so we're looking at professionalism in the early childhood sector as it relates to you as a parent. Now, the first question is, I'm going to be asking you 10 simple questions. The first one, what does professionalism mean to you?
Well, as a parent, professionalism means to me communicating with the teacher and also looking for quality service from my son's teacher and the school as a whole.
Okay. So what do you think professionalism looks like, and is there a correlation between higher education and professionalism?
Well, professionalism looks like to me that when I need something from the school, especially, for example, my son's report, it means that they are going to act in a professional way and be able to give me quality service. And yes, I think it is related to higher education.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, the more these teachers are qualified, I'm expecting better service, quality service from them.
Okay. So many advocates for the early childhood sector believe that professionalism begets professionalism. Do you agree with this understanding? And if so, why?
Certainly, I agree with it. If I have a certain mannerism in approaching the teacher, it will really help them put them at, if it is one that is kind, caring, humble, and showing interest in my child's work, then the teacher will in turn reciprocate to what I want.
That's right.
Yes.
So which do you think is more important? Professionalism in education or your child's learning? And why do you hold that position?
Well, I don't think any of them are more important. I think both of them are on the same level. Because when you think about it, if the teacher does not give quality service and they do not teach a child, then both will suffer. And in fact, the parent will not get what they want. And so I think I will be disgruntled. Yes. And why do I hold that position?
Yeah.
Because as a parent, I want quality for my money.
Yes, yes. You know, the 5th question, Mr. Brown, as a parent, do you think that professionalism is required during this COVID-19 pandemic as it relates to online teaching and learning, and if so, in what areas?
Oh yes, definitely. My child now is learning online, and in fact they brought out a new app.
Yes.
And in that app, the first time I logged on, I could not get what the teacher was saying. So I sent him, I was able to log on, I sent him a text message. He told me to look into that folder for my child's activity. I could not find it, but then how he responded was very kind, professional, I must say. And he told me exactly what to do, and I was able to find it.
Nice.
Yes.
So what do you think are the barriers against professionalism in the early childhood sector?
Well, I must tell you, I think your background has a lot to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, where you're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
But not only that, I think the teachers need to be educated themselves if they're going to educate others.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're not qualified to teach,
Yes.
and also have that drive for learning and love to doing it, then it will be a barrier.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, as a parent, Mr. Brown, no doubt your child's right to an education is always at the forefront of your mind. Can you please tell me about the second most important child's right to you?
Well, I think my child should be safe at school. Well, presently they're at home now, and they should be safe too. When I think about it, there's so much things that can cause the child not to be safe. One of such, when we think about the child, for example, at home, they may find it difficult to record and to record what is the activity that they should do. So I have to be careful that I don't rough them up and push them to do what they don't want to do, because everybody is getting quite adjusted to this new way of learning. It's not an easy one, telling you.
Yes. So, how do you think professionalism enhances your ability to advocate for children's rights?
Well, I think my ability can be increased when it comes to professionalism, the way in which I act and the way in which I communicate with the teacher and the way in which I treat my child too. And also I need to look out for other parents and encourage them to motivate them to take care of their children too.
Wow.
Yes.
So, do you think your child's do you think your child's success in learning is directly linked to professionalism?
Yes, I do think so, because the manner in which the teacher teach and behave will affect my child.
That's right.
Yes.
So the final one, what is your personal mantra to uphold a very high professionalism?
Well, to continue to really be their best and to put out that professionalism that is required of teachers. I know it's not an easy job, because being at home now with my child, trying to teach them, is not one of the easiest jobs. So a lot of respect goes out to these teachers.
Thank you very much for this interview, Mr. Brown.
Thank you too.
So thank you, Mrs. Walters, for accepting to do this interview. You mentioned that you teach cohorts ages 3 to 6, which makes you a prime candidate for this video. So we're talking about professionalism in the early childhood sector, and as it relates to the COVID-19 pandemic that we're currently experiencing. So tell me, I'll ask you 10 questions, 10 simple questions, and you can just speak from your heart, you know?
Okay.
So the first one, we want to find out, what does professionalism means to you as an early educator?
Well, thank you very much, Mrs. Cripps, for inviting me. It's a pleasure. To me, professionalism in the early child sector means basically how you portray yourself. Because if your attitude, your behavior, how you interact with people, you know, especially like when you're dealing with the younger ones, you have to know how to interact with them to really get them to learn. So it's how you portray yourself.
Okay, thank you. Now my next question, what do you think professionalism looks like? And is there a correlation between higher education and professionalism?
Professionalism look like a servant. Because with your attitude, you come to serve. So once you have it, the attitude and behavior is right, how you interact with people, you just come to serve in that manner. Right? And higher education and professionalism, I think they're correlated to somewhat, because professionalism comes with the attitude and the behavior. And if you don't have a good attitude, behavior, if you're not genuine, you're not respectful, and in those cases, you don't really reach anywhere, you know. You might reach, but you take your time, right? So, and higher learning, when you have the respect, the genuineness, how you interact with people, right? And how you relate to people, right? It will help you to move further to get that higher education that you're supposed to get.
Thank you very much. There are many advocates for the early childhood sector that believe that professionalism begets professionalism. Now, do you agree with this understanding, and if so, why?
Yes, I believe in that, because there's a saying in the Bible that do unto others. So if I'm a professional and I come and I genuine to you, I'm honest, I'm respectful to you, I warmness and kindness I show to you, you're going to in return show that to me. So whatever I give, I'll get back. So I do believe in that.
Okay. So which do you think is more important? Professionalism in education or students learning? And why would you hold that position?
Well, to me, both of them. I cannot pick one. Both of them.
Yes.
Because whatever you're doing, you need to be professional. It doesn't matter even if you're cutting the grass. You still have to, because if I have a man that is coming to cut my grass and he's disrespectful and kind, curse up bad words and stuff, I don't want him to be around my children or be in my environment, because he's not behaving in a professional manner, right? So it's the same way. You have to be professional in dealing with, especially younger children. You have to be professional dealing with them, because how you interact with them, or you portray yourself, are you respectful to them? Not because they're children, you angle them a certain way, talk to them a certain way, abuse them verbally a certain way, and you just feel like, yes, they're going to learn. They're not going to learn. Once you start behaving a certain way towards them, they shut down, and from they shut down, they can't learn. So I say both of them. I cannot pick. You have to be professional when you're dealing with the children for them to really learn.
I thank you for that. Now, as a teacher, do you think that professionalism is required during this COVID-19 pandemic as it relates to online teaching and learning? And if so, in what areas?
Every area. Because it's not just about the child learning. Because a child, when you're going through something, if you have to have the children's best interests at heart, all holistically.
Yes.
Right? So it's not just to come and learn ABC, 1, 2, 3, letter sound and all of those things. But what about the child emotional part? Even financial, because some of us can help them financially, depends. Right? So it's every way. How are you feeling today? You're alright? You look like that. What happened to you this morning? And you just talk to them without even getting into the learning aspect as yet. They come on the video, their face not looking so chirpy. Yesterday they were much chirpy, today they're sulky. You need to find out what is going on there before you start to say, let's go into saying ABCs, letter sound, 1, 2, 3. That can wait a minute, because if the child is not there where you want them to be emotionally to get the ABC and the letter sound, you're not going to get it.
Right.
That means that you're going to leave that child, and that child, by the time you finish the whole thing, that child don't learn nothing. Because you didn't deal with the first thing, the emotional part of the child. So it's not all about just come and learn, but everything you're supposed to deal with. So that they feel more comfortable with you, so they can just open up themselves to just learn whatever and grasp whatever you take it to them.
Thank you. Now, what do you think are the barriers against professionalism in the early childhood sector?
Well, a lot of teachers they don't have certain degrees and diplomas. And even when you have the degrees and the diplomas and masters, you still need to see how you can develop yourself even more. Going to seminars, partake into sessions at school with the personal development, and stuff like that. So that is what I think is about it right now.
Thank you very much. So as an early childhood educator, no doubt a child's right to an education is always at the forefront of your mind.
Mm-hmm.
Now, can you please tell me about the second most important child's right to you?
The child being not endangerment. You understand? Because right now, a lot of children are being abused. We're aware of it. And there are certain things we can do and certain things we can't really do. Right? So that is the thing that is going. There's sexual abuse, verbally abuse even right now. The school will be a safe haven. They leave, they go to school, feeling good, play with their peers, and don't just have fun and learning. But once it's going on time, some of them don't see it on their faces that, boy, let's go back into it right now. daddy or uncle or my neighbor or somebody going to probably touch me or do this to me or do that to me, and you don't know because they don't tell you, right? So that is the danger right there.
Safety and security.
Safety and security of the children.
Wow. So how do you think professionalism enhances your ability to advocate for children's rights?
Whatever we know, while we go to college and we learn certain things, children develop, the children's right and everything like that. Once we know all of this, we need to put it into practice.
That's
so we
right.
know our craft and help them wherever we can help them. So if we hear of something, we need to go out, speak out. You ever know of them being abused, verbally, physically, any abuse at all. We must try to help them wherever we can. Children are our future, they are our heritage, excuse me, they are our heritage. So we have to build them up and we have to take care of them.
Thank you very much. So do you think your success in teaching in the early childhood sector is directly linked to professionalism?
Yes, because professionalism, no matter what and what you're doing, once you're doing it in a professional way, you'll get benefits more than you deserve. Because people look up to you when you're professional. I like how you behave. I like how you dress. I like how you interact with the staff, with even the gardener. Because it's not just with the person you work with. But if you come in as the security, good afternoon, good morning, that is good. They don't just pass them and you just go on and don't say anything. So person watching you, observing you, even from the gate coming in, what you do. You say good morning, you say good afternoon. You don't sit there until somebody's allowed, call it a sit time, all of those things. So professionalism had to your success.
True. Now the final one. What is your personal mantra to uphold a very high professionalism in your school?
Well, serving with humility. Because once you have that humility, yes, you're going to get angry sometimes and you're going to disagree with certain things that happen and so, but it's a way you deal with it. Because we deal with it in a certain way, your integrity gone through the window, professionalism gone through the window, so you still have to know how to deal with that situation even when it is negative. So humility, really serving with humility and building and maintaining a good rapport, and so with your staff, your community, right, wherever you go, they must can speak volume about you, right? They don't have to know what, Miss Cripps, she come and she do this and she do that, I will never tell her to do it, man. She just do it. Oh my, she's so professional. And your staff and your boss, your principal feels so good to know that you could have sent you out somewhere and you act in a professional manner. It make your school look good and make you look good. So I think that is it. Serving in humility and maintaining and building a good relationship with those who you interact with. From the smaller one to the bigger one. Yes.
Well said, Mrs. Walters. Well said. And I thank you very much for this interview.
You're welcome. So it's my pleasure.
Thank you very much, Mr. Brown and Mrs. Walters. So, what can we take away from this session? 1. Professionalism goes hand in hand with students' learning, hence one cannot be devoid of the other. 2. Professionalism begets professionalism. 3. While all children's rights are important, during this period of the COVID-19 pandemic, 2 are highlighted. The first one, the right to an education, and secondly, safety and security of our children from all kinds of abuse. Having assessed the teacher's perspective and the parents' view on professionalism in the early childhood sector, I am encouraged to continue in my quest to increase my knowledge of early childhood pedagogy.